I'm with Sydney Leathers, and we're going to talk about her work with SpankChain and SpankPay. Thanks so much for talking.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Right. So you have kind of a name in the adult industry, but I'm curious. So your name, Sydney Leathers, that's your real name?
Actually, yes, nobody ever believes me. And when somebody takes my ID for something, I feel like people just are shocked that that is actually my real name. Always has been.
Right.
Just blessed with a very porno sounding name.
Fascinating. Well, tell me about how you came and when you came to SpankChain and what you're doing there.
So I've been working there since the beginning of the year this year. I am doing social media management and marketing, and then also model outreach. So I coordinate all of our promotions and contests. I help choose models for photo shoots. We are launching an NFT platform soon called Pop Shots, and I did all the model selection for that. I answered all the questions, gathered all the content, helped organize all the files, many roles. But it's great. I'm technically called the community manager, but I do a little bit of everything.
Right. Yeah. This is a startup, right? Or it's been a startup.
Yeah. And it's been around a few years, and I've had my eye on them for a little bit, but they did a $100,000 giveaway right before I started. And that really piqued my interest because there aren't many adult companies or tech companies or crypto companies that would care about giving back to adult content creators. That kind of generosity is super unique. So that just really struck me. And I just thought, this is a really cool business. I'm very interested in this. This is something I would want to get involved in. And it's awesome too, because the contests I help set up every month, those are putting dollars in the pockets of sex workers directly. There's nothing that's going to benefit your life more than money being sent to you directly, especially if it's in a time of need during COVID and everything. So that's been something I've really liked to be able to be part of. It's been exciting.
Right. And just to back up a bit, can you kind of explain, just for people who don't know, what SpankChain is exactly?
Yeah, so SpankChain is our corporation, and then SpankPay is more of our product, and it is a crypto wallet and processor. So it's kind of set up just for sex workers to be able to get involved in crypto, to be able to receive tips. So you can receive tips in crypto, and you can let it sit there and use it as a wallet and let it grow over time. Or you can cash out immediately if you need the funds. You also don't have to just use crypto. If you prefer to receive tips in US dollars, you totally can. That's up to the model. They're able to choose that on their own. And it's really great because a lot of people don't realize traditional banks often have morality clauses, and they actually can shut down accounts of sex workers. So I personally prefer crypto or credit unions or things like that. A lot of big banks have bad histories of sometimes even closing your account and keeping money. A lot of sketchy things have happened. And payment apps also do the same thing. PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, all of those, can kick sex workers off, can keep your money. But with something like SpankPay, we are set up for, adult content creators. So you are never going to be kicked off for the type of work you do. You can easily receive tips and make money. Yeah, we want you to use us to make money. That's our whole goal. So that's also something I've really liked about it, because I've been kicked off payment apps before. A weird experience. I didn't have Cash App. I made a Cash App because I was in college. And a female cousin of mine, it's my mom's cousin who's older, wanted to send me $300 as a birthday gift to put towards college. And $300 is a small amount. That's not something that should be flagged or whatever. And mind you, I just set up this account to receive this as a gift. I had never used it for sex work. They immediately flagged it and shut my account down and sent her money back to her. And I reached out to them and I was like, there must be some mistake. This is a family member. It's for college. There's obviously a mistake here, right? And they basically were like, no, you can't use us. So, having personal experiences like that and really knowing that these things happen all the time, every day. And, just is nice to know that we're a safe space for models to be able to receive funds and nobody will ever be kicked off or discriminated against for their work.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I guess I didn't really know like how precarious it was. I've heard somewhere there's a lot of fees too, right? Like in more traditional platforms, like do you end up?
I mean, there can be, I think it just depends on the platform. But yeah, that was just such a strange experience because I was thinking, man, I didn't even use this for like webcamming or any of like the sex work I do. I just couldn't believe that, immediately first transaction from a female family member, like how is this like a red flag to you? I don't know. So yeah, just like seeing, and this has happened to so many sex workers I know too. Like this is a thing that happens a lot and big banks do it, payment apps do it. And yeah, it's just nice to have a space that, that will never happen. Nobody's ever going to seize your funds and you're never going to be kicked off. And yeah, you can use it and have peace of mind with that.
Yeah, wow, that definitely sounds like it makes a big difference.
For sure.
Really, really interesting. So it's kind of the crypto element of it, it's just like through the blockchain
Yeah, and it's like, and like I said, you don't even have to, we have people that aren't into crypto that use it and just, use it in US dollars and they're just happy to not be kicked off. We have people that are super invested in the crypto community and want to hold their money there and watch it grow as long as possible. We have people who, use it for crypto, but might cash out here and there, like kind of everything you can imagine, I like that we have options for people, and you don't have to do the crypto thing if that's not your thing.
Right, right. And has like the crypto crash had any impact on you guys at all? Or does that really?
Honestly, no. We're like fully prepared to weather any storm. And, it's been around for a few years. And honestly, like depending on who you ask, like the downturn might have just started. You know what I mean? So we are like fully prepared to weather whatever. And hopefully we'll be, things going up soon. That's the interesting thing about a market, same with stocks, things are going to go up and down. It happens. And yeah, nobody is panicking on our side, at least.
I've heard this described as like the would-be PayPal of the adult industry. Is that what they're aspiring for, to kind of make this more of a?
I mean, yeah. Like I was saying about people getting kicked off, like PayPal is another one I've been kicked off of before. So
right. Sorry. Yes. I mean,
no, it's totally fine.
As an analogy.
Of course.
But
yeah.
not like PayPal in the sense that it discriminates against sex.
Right. Of course. But yeah, it's like any payments app, but better and, directly meant for sex workers. And, like I said, we really do want to be a safe space for people to make money, and that's what makes us happy. That's what gets us excited. And yeah.
So I totally see why performers would be really into this. What is it that do customers find it appealing as well?
Obviously with crypto, there is privacy that way. Some people just are, super into and invested in crypto and maybe only want to tip models that way. I feel like a little bit of everything.
Right. Maybe there's a bit of a gimmicky side to it, maybe, or something.
And also
like
it's nice and it's nice too, like the same part about, not worrying about getting kicked off, like that happens to clients as well, not just sex workers. So it's the same thing. You don't run the risk of losing any account or anything, nobody's going to seize your money and close your account. You're good to send tips for cam shows or whatever, custom videos, whatever it is you're into.
Right. No, that makes sense. So I want to talk a little bit about your kind of what sort of led you in this direction, and where you have been in the past, because you have been some places and done some pretty.
I've had a colorful life.
You've had a colorful life, yes. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. No, I always joke. I'm like, I'm at least going to have really good stories when I'm an old lady. Like people are going to think I'm full of shit because I have so many good stories.
You'll have really good stories. It'll be awesome. So, can you kind of explain a little bit, or just touch on a bit, short Cliff's Notes version
Sure.
of your history with an infamous character,
congressman turned mayoral candidate.
Turned mayoral candidate. Yes. that we all know, and also has a name.
Right, another like porno sounding name.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I had tried to leak some information anonymously during that whole
About Anthony Weiner during
about Anthony Weiner
debacle, his sexting, and so on.
Yeah, and mainly a thing that people don't realize, it was mainly because of the hypocrisy of it. He was literally on People magazine on the cover with his wife saying, "I don't do these things anymore. Like, I'm a changed man." And still talking to me and sending me the article like, haha, these idiots, like trying to laugh about it with me on the side. And I'm like a 23-year-old girl. And yeah, basically I just felt like that's such bullshit. Like, I don't know. I just have a thing about hypocrisy. Like, it just struck a nerve with me. And I was just thinking, like, this person is just terrible. Like, I don't know. Just felt like he would be a bad person to be in charge of that city. So I was like, I'm just going to leak this anonymously. Like, it'll be fine. If you leak it anonymously, like, you're safe. No, I'm a private citizen. Surely nobody would care. I'm not, how would I be part of the story? You know what I mean? Like, nobody knows who I am.
You have these sex because he was sending you stuff and.
Yeah. We had been talking for like a while.
Right.
So I try to leak things anonymously. The site I gave it to initially was just like a gossip blog, and they did protect my identity, which I respected. But then I was outed. Like, it was the craziest thing that's ever happened to me because so they reached out to me, but they only sent me one message and they didn't even wait for me to see it before they ran my legal name and like photo and stuff. So yeah, that's obviously like a super upsetting, terrible experience, especially for a young woman and especially in something that's like a sex scandal kind of thing. Even though there was no sex involved, like it's still an immediate scarlet letter, you know? And so during all of that, I lost my job and my income, and it was upsetting. Like, I'm somebody who comes from a family like who has nothing. You know, I don't have no shade to Monica Lewinsky. I think she's great, but she comes from a different situation. Like, she was never going to potentially be homeless because of what she went through. Like, I literally could have been homeless, you know. I didn't have anybody to like live with and recuperate. I didn't have anybody who could help me make rent. Like, I had no one. I was on my own. So basically the only way I had to make a living were like dumb publicity stunts and like tabloid things, and then eventually porn. I had a company reach out to me, and I just felt like the scarlet letter I already had just from the scandal was so bad that porn wasn't even that big of a leap. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like the societal stigma was already there in such a real way. And with it being my legal name, I just felt like it wasn't much of a leap to then do porn. Like, it was just like, oh, well, people already think I'm a whore. So, and when you're young and you don't have many options, I literally was looking at this like, am I ever going to be able to get a job again? Like, am I unemployable forever? Like, is this my only opportunity to ever make money again? So I just chose to capitalize on it. And I feel like people get confused because they see what I did after and they assume like, you wanted all of this and this was all like some setup, and it genuinely wasn't. But when your options are taken away from you, like, you will do what you need to do to survive. It's kind of how I look at it. So like, I feel no shame for anything I like did or said, or I don't know. I was a young person in like a really traumatizing situation, just like navigating it the best I could. And yeah, I don't know. It's been a lot. I had a few like rough years after, and then I eventually like picked myself back up and like went back to college and just built like a really normal, stable life for myself, which has been awesome. But it definitely takes time after something like that. Like, it was just a really like upsetting experience. Like, that would shake anybody up, I think.
Right.
Yeah. So I've been in trauma therapy. I went to college. I got my degree. Yeah, and just kind of wanted normalcy for everybody who thought I was a fame whore. Like, I stayed in the Midwest. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't like move to LA seeking fame, or I don't know. I'm a very like normal, boring person, actually. Now I like focus on my job. Like, my job is really like my passion. And then my other passion is helping stray cats. Like I foster kittens. I get stray cats spayed and neutered in my community. Like those are the things I care about doing. It's not about like tabloid bullshit or I don't know. I'm just like so different than people really would think.
Right. And it's interesting to hear you talk about this. You know, it's not so much the sexting with Anthony Weiner that was traumatizing from what it sounds like. It sounds like the public exposure and the whirlwind and everyone accusing you and attacking you with things. Yeah.
And I think it's just so much worse when you're a woman in this too. Like, I feel like I got the brunt of the situation when he was the older, married person, powerful person. Like, I don't know. To me, it just seems like the young, like I was 22 when I first started talking to him. Like, you're kind of an idiot when you're 22. Like your brain is literally not even fully developed. So, you know, I just felt like, and I'm not married. I'm a single person. Like, I don't know. It just is unfortunate the way people kind of put everything on the woman in a situation like that. And I just was ill prepared to deal with that. It's funny. I'm from a small town where people gossip a lot. And I feel like that was like a good introduction to what this might be like on, you know, that was like a small scale of what life was going to be like, basically. It's like used to being gossiped about a bit, but it really got like absolutely out of control.
Well, it sounds like even though you were just so young and in your 20s and like it was so much foisted on you, you handled it brilliantly.
I still, when I think back on it, this sounds dramatic, but I'm like surprised I survived it. Like, it was such a devastating, terrible experience. And if you like watch interviews from that time, I seem fine, but it's just because I can like put on a brave face and like, that's just my personality. You know what I mean? Like I will seem fine even if I'm not, but I promise you on the inside, I was just like, my life is over. Like, how will I ever get through this? Like, it felt like the worst thing that could ever happen. You know, it really did. And it definitely looked like I was like having fun and enjoying myself, but that was just like how I got through it. And I think it was even harder too, because I didn't have like real family support during it. Like, my dad loves me very much, but I am more of the parent in a lot of ways. And like, if I were to call him about this, like he would be the one crying because he's so hurt for me and upset for me. But so then I have to like be the strong one. I don't have anybody to lean on, you know? And then my mom, God bless her, is just very concerned about like people's opinions. And, you know, she was like, not worried about what I was going through, but was worried about like, what does everybody think? You know? So I literally had nobody. And thank God I found like a really solid trauma therapist to kind of help me work through all this stuff. But yeah, I had no one during that time and just had to kind of figure out how to keep my head above water. Like, it was definitely a really, really hard time. And like I said, it took a few years for me to really like get my shit together and feel like a normal, stable, like happy, healthy person. Like, I have PTSD that stems from childhood stuff as well, but this just like added a layer to it. You know what I mean? It was just like more trauma I needed to work through.
Totally. Well, it sounds like yes, I mean, obviously this would be difficult for anyone, and you've found your way. And you're doing well. You're involved in this exciting startup. It seems like it has really cool ambitions.
Yeah.
Anthony Weiner is out of prison now, and has come up with some odd plans. And I think one of them was trying to sell his dick pics as an NFT. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, my main thought is just that, like, you're a sex offender. You're literally on the sex offender registry. And I don't know the rules behind, like, sex offenders selling dick pics, but it seems sketchy. You know what I mean? And it seems like his, like, parole officer, whoever he checks in with, needs to be like, hey, not a good idea. You can't do that.
Well, anyway, it does sound really cool, what you're working on. It'll be exciting to watch this company develop and see what happens. Thanks so much for chatting.
Yeah, of course. It's been fun.